Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
Oh, good one. That's a you got
Great pop.
When you do the creaking part at the start as well, that really adds some dramatic effect.
You like the sound?
Maybe it's my technique that's wrong. Maybe I've got. What are we drinking?
We are drinking
You'll get this right for sure.
a Watch Hill
Yep.
from Watch Hill proper.
Not just any Watch Hill. This was the first one they ever released.
I know.
Oh,
And
sorry.
we were there.
We were there.
So cheers to that.
Hey, cheers to this. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Watch Hill. It's the definitive series. Batch 1, released September 2024. Age 5 years. It's a blended bourbon. I think they call it a blended straight bourbon. Is that what it says on the label? I always get this wrong. Yeah, blended straight bourbon. So not necessarily all Kentucky sauce, but it might be. Batch 1 and delicious. And the stories about this are that Watch Hill proper is an amazing place.
Yeah. We were there in Louisville and you got us a booking very last minute and they looked after us incredibly well. We grabbed a bite to eat and did some flights. And then, am I correct in saying the manager or you're admiring the colour?
I'm admiring how small a pour you were able to give me.
Didn't want to
That's all right.
overindulge, just wanted to get the flavours. And
See
the
if I can
nose.
get some flavours out of this.
Do a little more.
No, this is fine.
Well, there's only one bottle, right? Probably in Australia. And I don't want to polish it off too quickly because I've really enjoyed this one.
It's really interesting. It's got a real apricot-y, jammy kind of character. Kind of dark
Very
wood,
much.
cherries, plums.
Opening that fresh, like my mum used to make this apricot jam.
Yeah?
Yep. And it would boil on the stove in this big pot for ages. And this is the smell of walking into the kitchen.
And then there's like this interesting finish on it, like a kind of lovely, grippy kind of. It's kind of sits there. It's 117 proof, so it's not like crazy, going to blow your mouth away. But
It's got that kind of oaky, smoky finish for me.
Yeah, but kind of just it hangs kind of mid palate, and it's lovely,
and nice and rich.
Okay, so
But you were interrupting my story about the amazing place we went to.
Sorry, go on. No, you tell the story.
That we were in Louisville and you got us a booking at the Watch Hill proper place.
Well, so far this isn't a great story. Can you bring it to the point where it's good?
They gave us flights, we got flights, and it was amazing. But then at the end, we did it was a blind flight, which was a lot of fun, picking and choosing flavours and trying to guess where they came from. But then as we were leaving, he asked us if we wanted to have a taste of their first and latest release that they'd distilled. And we had a taste and we said, yep, we'll buy a bottle. And then we got very nervous because we had a very limited number of bottles we were allowed to bring home. And we'd purchased this one and we're like, we bought it at the end of the night, which is always against my rules of you shouldn't, buy bourbon after you've had a few drinks because you never know actually what you're going to get. And so when we got it home, I was a little bit nervous to open it because I was like, this is the one we bought at the end of the night. Not sure, how much we actually loved it when we'll retaste it. And it really surprised me. It was incredible and I loved it. We made a great decision that night after a few flights.
We've opened a few bottles that we bought over there and quite frankly, this is the bottle we keep going back to and it's just depleting more quickly than I probably would like to because it's really
very
interesting.
limited.
Yeah, it's really rich. It's got like that lovely kind of plum puddingy thing going on that I really like. Yeah. The thing about Watch Hill Proper, so I am fascinated by these bars. The other one that I've been to that's really amazing this way is the Multnomah Whiskey Library in Portland, Oregon. And I think the guys, the Watch Hill Proper guys went there to check it out as they were kind of setting up Watch Hill Proper.
Incredible wall of just a massive ladder to get to the top shelf. And the whole thing behind the bar was just an incredible amount of whiskies and bourbons, and they really, really tried to keep it like mostly whiskies and bourbons.
I'm sure they call it America's biggest bourbon collection, or a bar with biggest collection.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's probably the best in the world, like biggest in the world, and it is. It's unbelievable. Like it's stories high, and
yeah, watching them go up and down the ladder.
Meters wide. Yeah. It was so cool.
It was fun.
And like at those places as well, it's quite. I don't know if it's intimidating, but it's like I'm only going to be able to drink a handful of pours because I'm just one human person.
Yeah.
And so what do you have? And it's interesting. I've heard them on podcasts talk about how there's people come in and will try really rare, hard to find things, and some people come in and try kind of expensive and hard to acquire things, and other people will just try a dusty bottle.
That's what I loved about the blind tasting is that we had these 4 bourbons. We didn't know what they were. We tasted them. We picked our favourite, and then he revealed which ones were which. And sometimes there was one that we picked that he was like, "Yep, that's nearly everyone's favourite," and it was a very easy to get standard regular bottle of bourbon. And
hang on. Wasn't it JTS Brown? That's easy to get in Kentucky. It's like $10 a bottle.
To him, not for us, but for them, it was like a standard. Go down the bottle and grab one of these.
It's a Kentucky only release, yeah.
Yeah, that was delicious, but it was just like that compared to something that might have been a really expensive, really, really limited.
You can't get it
rare,
here.
Hard to find here. It's all hard to find.
You can get it in California.
Most bourbon's hard to find here.
Yeah, but I really felt like that night we were really playing with bourbon in a way we hadn't done it before, and it's really inspired me. Literally had slips of paper, small slips of paper, like a golf scorecard.
Yeah, they had little notes.
And a pencil or a pen or something.
Yep.
And you were writing at the top and you were putting the things down at the bottom.
I think the golf scoring card was kind of on theme with the quirky place we were at, because the suburb we were in, where Watch Hill proper is, was quirky, like straight out of an American TV series. Like I said, it reminded me of like the Real Housewives. The Real Housewives?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Desperate Housewives.
Maybe.
All the beautiful manicured lawns and people driving around in their little golf carts and cute little shop fronts, and it was definitely different to anything.
If you get to Kentucky, you need to get out. You need to get out there and have dinner. The food was good. The food was really good.
The food was amazing.
And the bourbon is off the chain, like as in what they've got. And we had cocktail to start with, and it was just a great experience. And you can book in. It's not like one of these members clubs where you have to be a member to get in. You can book in online, and they want visitors to come and check it out. And
yeah.
We were so lucky that the manager spent a lot of time, after kind of the busy part of the service had finished, he really came over and spent a lot of time with us and answered questions and kind of enjoyed hanging out with us, I think.
But he was all
hanging out with him.
He was all about, making an experience for the people who come there.
And boy, did we have an experience. It was so good. And we'll certainly go back. But you're right, the neighbourhood's something to behold by itself.
Yeah. It was just fascinating. I was fascinated by the whole experience, but it definitely was an incredible place to go. Bit
of a journey out of Kentucky, out of Nulu, sorry.
Yeah, it was about a 25, 30-minute drive.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, something like that.
But if you get a great Uber driver like we got.
We did have a good
lots of entertaining stories along the way.
So here's the thing that I think I took away from that night that I think that we haven't actioned since we got back, which is such a business meeting way of describing this. I reckon we should do more like playing with, talking about the flavours, doing more blind flights, talking about this stuff.
I said that, let's do more blind. But to discover what you really like, it's a fun activity. Is if you've got 1, 2, 3, whatever number of bourbons you have in your cupboard at home, get someone else to pour them. Don't tell them which one's which. And then you get to see what flavours you actually like without being sort of swayed by the fact that this is my favourite Maker's Mark or this is I love a Woodford, or you kind of like, well, what am I actually tasting and smelling, and how much do I actually enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely. We should have more fun with our bourbon because it's definitely worth doing. Here's that. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.